Michael. I'm a T-BAS survivor. That's, you know what that stands for. Hey, do you know what T-BAS stands for?
No.
Traumatic brain injury. Punch means I had head trauma at some point in my life. That's Michael. That's Juan. That's Rob. I'm Mike. I have different stories going to end up the same. Go ahead and start.
Hi, my name is Mike Nish. I'm here to talk a little bit about how I ended up in this wheelchair and how my life has changed since then. In June of 2007, I was 26 years old. Gone to a concert in the Bay Area with 3 friends, and about halfway back home, I realized I was too tired to drive. My friend Adam said he was fine to drive, so I gave him the keys and got comfy in the front passenger seat. A few exits from home, Adam fell asleep at the wheel and drove the car with the cruise control set at 75 miles an hour off of Highway 50 into a bunch of oak trees. Trisha Watson, who was 21 and a passenger in the back seat, she died in the crash. I was tossed around in the front seat and basically broke my whole right side. My leg, my arm, broke some ribs, broke my jaw, facial fractures, and lacerated my liver. I also suffered 5 massive brain traumas, any one of which could have killed me. I was in a coma for a month at UC Davis. I was in very critical condition and not expected to live. Even if I did, nobody knew if I'd be able to see or hear or know who anybody was due to the brain injuries. I was on all sorts of machines, had tubes and wires everywhere you can imagine. I was transferred to Kaiser Hospital, where my mom was told the best she could hope for was that I'd be a step above a vegetative state. After a month there, I was transferred to Kaiser Rehab in Vallejo, speech, occupational, and physical therapies, which I don't remember doing at all. 3 months after the accident, I said my first word to Mom. After almost 4 months in the hospitals and then 18 long months in a nursing home, I went back to live with my parents, where I've been for 5 years now. It's been a very difficult 7 years, painful and very frustrating. I've worked hard and I've pushed myself to do the most that I can. 2.5 years ago, I chose to have my right leg amputated at the knee. It was a very difficult decision, but it meant no more pain from a leg that would never work for me again. Getting a prosthetic leg seems like it should be a fairly easy thing to do, but it's been a long, difficult process. But after a few tries, I now have a leg that goes on and stays on with no problem. I don't have it on right now. And more importantly, no pain. I'm now able to stand with assistance and can transfer from my wheelchair to my bed. I'm especially excited to be able to transfer into the front seat of our car, instead of having to be strapped in the back of our wheelchair van in my wheelchair. And now I have this lightweight foldable chair. My mom just pops the wheels off once I'm in the front seat, folds up the chair, puts it in the back of our car, and we're off. So now I can stand and walk a bit with my walker in supervision. With a lot of work, I'm determined to stand, walk a bit on my own, and I'm going to definitely play golf again. And I'm really looking forward to our vacation to Hawaii this summer. Before the crash, I was a very successful assistant sales manager at a car dealership. I made good money, had a brand new car, and lived in El Dorado Hills. I was very active and popular. Now I live with my parents. I'm on Social Security and Medicare, and my mom is my caregiver. Since my brain injuries left me with some memory loss, anxiety, frustration, confusion, and post-traumatic stress disorder, I need somebody close by to make sure I don't do anything stupid. Different from the life I'd planned, but at least I have my family and friends who care about me and want the best for me. I share my story through the party program and also the CHP Start Smart program, hoping I can influence people to make good decisions. Soon I'll be involved in the amputee support group through Hanger, helping people who are going to or have already gone through an amputation to help them deal with the things they may experience. I know to you guys it seems like I'm young, I'm healthy, I'll be fine, that'll never happen to me. But your life can change in an instant through no fault of your own. April, this month, is Distracted Driving Awareness Month. Drinking, using drugs, texting while driving, and drowsy driving. All avoidable things that can cost you everything and change your life forever. Make good choices and surround yourself with people who make good choices.
Thanks, Mike. You're one. How do you know?
I'm the grandfather of the group. I'm 50. I'm going to be 58 in June.
How old were you when your accident happened, and what are you doing in your life?
I was 1 week before my 30th birthday. I was in between jobs, retail job, went out of business, and I just gotten a new job with Pep Boys.
So what happened?
My accident?
Yes.
I went with one of the acquaintance for my Christmas help from my former job. He needed to lower his Mustang to get a better ground effect on it. Nobody could do it for him. And since I used to love working on vehicles, he asked me if I could lower his vehicle, and I told him yes. And I lowered it for him. And since I did that for him, he wanted to pay me. And I said, no, I don't charge my friends. And so what happened is I guess payment for my services. He offered to take me three-wheel riding in Reno, Nevada. I wasn't into motorcycles, so I didn't really know what to expect. But he just kind of put it, well, you had a tricycle and a little kid. I go, yes. He goes, now you got a big motor. I said, okay, sounds good. So anyway, we went up there, and they kind of have like this little practice area to get kind of used to the bike. And you have all these little bumps and hills. We did that for about an hour, and then he had to go to the restroom. Well, when he went to the restroom, I thought this was my chance to go hit the big sand dune. So I went up to the top of the hill, saw it was okay on the other side, went back down and just went for it. Apparently, when the bike went over, I landed successful. I was probably all happy about it, but I didn't know that the bike would make a second jump. And it was on the second jump that I guess the bars ended up hitting my head, flipping over, and then I guess it landed on me, stuck my head like an ostrich, and it landed on the right side of my head, causing my left side paralysis. I was in a coma for 3 months. I spent two weeks in Reno, Nevada, and then I was transferred from there back to Sacramento, where I'm from.
What kind of rehab have you gone through since?
Well, when I finally snapped out of my coma after 3 months, I was given the physical therapy, occupational therapy, and I keep forgetting
Speech therapy.
Yeah, speech therapy. And I've been doing that ever since.
Where you living there, and how you think your life course changed?
Well, it changed a lot because at the time, like I said, I was with living with my fiance. We lasted for about 3 years. The last year was nothing to nibble about. I was reminded about how much I've changed. And pretty much, we separated. I'm now back home with my parents. I'm always was the baby of the family, but it kind of felt like here I was a baby again. But you have to do what you have to do.
What would you have done different to change or prevent your accident?
Well, the biggest thing was, and like I said, I was never a motorcycle rider, and back then the laws were different. There were no requirements for helmets or anything. But had I had a helmet on, I wouldn't have got as hurt as I am today.
Thank you, Mark. Hey, Rob, how do you know?
33 now.
How old were you when your accident happened, and what did you do in your life?
At the time of my injury, I was 21 years old. I was working summers on a golf course for the irrigation crew, so it was way more than full-time work.
So what happened?
So what happened was I'd ridden motorcycles since high school, and I had a buddy who I rode with a lot, and he had a family with kids and everything, and they were going to ride, so he invited me to go dirt bike riding with them for the weekend. So I bought a dirt bike. I followed him up 50 to Ice House. Some friends of his followed us up there, and they weren't riding buddies, but they were drinking buddies. Since he had his family with him, he wasn't going to drink, and I didn't drink at all. So the first night when they started drinking, we asked them to leave. So the next day we get up. I spend the morning riding with his 5-year-old son. We get back to camp. I take off with the dad without filling my gas tank up. We make it like a mile out of camp. Run out of gas, so we're walking back. His buddies pull up in their Ford Bronco, offer us a ride. We figure that they're sober by now, so we get in. We take off. It was my buddy and his 2 friends were in the front seat with seatbelts. They had a dog with them earlier in the day that was unrestrained in the back seat, so they had the seat was disabled, so there was no seatbelt. So we take off. We realize he's still been drinking, so we ask him to pull over, let us out. Instead of pulling over, he veers and starts whirling up the side of the mountain. Loses control. We start to roll. All the windows break out of the camper shell, and I got left halfway down. They reach the bottom. The driver's the first one out. He sees me and he says, "Wow, Robert's dead. Let's go back to camp." My neighbor's the second one. I says, "No, we can't just leave him up there." So he runs up to me, turns my body over. My face was demolished. I was bleeding everywhere, but especially I was bleeding out of my mouth because my lungs had been punctured, so my throat was filling up with blood. My neighbor didn't know anything about CPR, but luckily there was a truckload of firemen and paramedics on the trail behind us. They pulled up, they kind of said, "Hey, we've been drinking, we can't really work on your friend, but we'll tell you what to do to keep him alive long enough to, we'll use the OnStar button to get the Lifeline crew here," which they did, and I got to Sutter Roseville within the hour.
So what kind of rehab have you had to go through since?
So I did the standard speech therapies, occupational therapies, and physical therapies.
For how long?
I did, after the coma, I got sent to Kentfield Marin. I did 3 months of it there, and then I did another 3 years of it once I got home.
Where are you living now and how do you think life course changed?
So my life course has changed in the fact that it hasn't changed at all. I'm still living at home. I'm still working with my dad because he's the only employer that can put up with a guy that has to take a nap every 5 hours.
Did you join the CHP?
No, they don't take you after you've had a head injury.
So, what could you do different to change or prevent your accident?
The biggest things I could have done were I could have, made the seat to where I could reach the seat belts, but then the biggest thing is just not gotten in a car with a drunk driver.
Cool, thank you. Okay, I'm Michael. I'm 28 now. I was 17 in my accident. I was in my grandparents' house Thanksgiving dinner with my brother Mark and cousins Josh and Jared. So, my brother Mark comes up, he goes, "Michael, let's go to Louise." I said, "No." He's like, "Why?" I said, "I can't drive to you for 6 months because of the time. That was the law." So he goes, "Well, come and do nothing happen." I said, "Shut up, leave me alone." So he went and told my cousin Josh to come ask me. He comes up and goes, "Michael, let's go Louise." I said, "No." He's like, "Why?" I said, "Go ask Mark." So then they went away and they went together and asked his mom, Connie, and said, "Michael." She came up, she goes, "Those are your keys," and goes, "Here, take my car, nothing happened." So I went and we drove there fine. On the way back, my tire beaded. Does anybody know what that means? Kill me. One, what does the bead mean?
On tire, the inside of the tire is called the bead, and when pressure is put to the tire, the bead goes up against the metal part and it holds the air in.
Cool, so when the tire beads, it's because there's something in the tire and it's lower pressure. It means it comes off but doesn't pop. So I went like this and tried to crack and went back the other way, almost into the ditch, and tried to go back the other way and then the SUV head on. I was in a Chevy Cavalier. I hit a Ford Explorer. So my cousin in front seat, Josh, he died of impact because he broke his neck. My brother behind him, he broke his pelvis but wasn't in a coma. He'd have a coma induced, so he wouldn't be paralyzed if he moved wrong. My cousin behind me, Jared, He had a lot of brain damage and he was in a coma. I had the worst injuries once he survived. I had a hematoma. Does you know what that means? Kill me. It's pretty much blood on the brain. They have to drill a hole in your head and release the fluid. So I had to have that. I had to have it. Does you know what this is? Thank you. This is a student thing. It's called a tracheotomy. Does anyone know what's the difference? Huge difference between us. Come on, somebody, please.
Come on, somebody's got nuts.
Mine's deeper, thank you.
Hey.
Mine's deeper because the guy who did mine was apparently the new guy. And he screwed up. He threw my trachea into my esophagus. So he eliminated the supply of oxygen to my brain for about an hour until I got to the hospital and they fixed it there. I have hemiplegia, does anyone know what that is? Yes.
Well, hema means blood, so having
No.
to do with blood.
Not even close. Hemiplegia is like one side. Hema means side, like para is like up and down. Hema is one side. So hemiplegia is like paraplegia, no legs. Hema is one side. So my right side, his whatever side his is, he doesn't know big words though. So
I'm sitting down.
not you, that guy.
That's one of the
So it's like this took me forever to be able to do, and then crap, the final thing. That door freaks me out every time. It freaks me out. So anyway, I have that. I have when I was in my coma, they had to put this in. Does anybody know what this is? Kill me, the daughter dude up there explained it first. Remember the guy who hit the center thing in the freeway? That guy had to have a stomach tube, feeding tube put in. That's what this is. But it sucks when they pull out because when they put it into a balloon, they blow up. And they go on 3, 1, 2, when they pull, it bleeds forever. So, and then it does. You know what this is? Well, if you did, I'd be impressed because even I don't know. It's not a joke, come on. So, I had to do 10 years of physical therapy. I do 10 years of physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy. Does anyone know what physical therapy is? What?
Well, it's like physical therapy. You have to go back after you have an accident and you do like little stuff to kind of get like.
Yes and no,
right?
but the answer I'm looking for is like
Almost.
gross motor skills. Bending, walking, lifting, that kind of thing. Where occupational therapy is your fine motor skills like brushing your teeth, combing your hair, cutting your nails, that kind of thing. Or speech therapy is everything else, like memory, talking, interaction with people, that kind of thing. I did about 10 years of that, and then I went down there and I walked and they said, Michael, you're good. We don't think we should help you anymore because you don't think you get no better. So I said, okay. At the time I was in a wheelchair, so I said, cool. So I learned how to walk on my own, but I learned to walk on because I hiked my hip. I went to the doctor and said, I need pills, please. My hip burns a lot. So he's all, go to your therapist. I said, what pills should you give me? And he goes, go to your therapist. So I went to my therapist and I started to explain. And she finished explaining what's going on. She goes, Michael, you have an inflamed growing. I was like, I didn't do that now. She was like, your walking is wrong. You hike your hip whenever you step. And that means that I did this when I stepped. So I didn't drive my foot at the time. It seemed like a bad idea because I was falling a lot. I'm going through shoes like nothing. So I went back to the doctor. What's that do? What? I'm not trying to talk. Not yours. So I had to have I went and I got a walker. Another thing was awesome. I learned how to run for the first time since my accident. I was like, yeah, till I hit a rock. Then I did a flip. I did like 5 or 6 flips in Roseville. They were all painful. But now I live in Lincoln with my uncle and I rent a room from them. My life hasn't really changed because I was in high school at the time. I'm still going to Sarah College, so I'm still in school. I drive though, that's the same. I really shouldn't drive with kids because I am life for 2 weeks and that was illegal. So, are there any questions? You're killing me. Alright, fine. I have questions just in case. Mike, do the drill.
I have one set up. We're
What's
gonna
the drill?
do the amputee support group to help people that are either going to go through an amputation or have already had it.
Cool. One, do the drill.
Volunteer job, and I'm getting the state to help with the LEAD program to get a job.
B-I-N-G-O, B-I-N-G-O, right. Bingo.
Mm,
Rob, do the drill. See, I have the most embarrassing job in the world. Yes, I do. Hello, welcome. It's embarrassing, I promise. I do more than that, but that's what they pay me to do. So, it's like embarrassing. Alright, so, do you have a girlfriend?
No, I had one at the time of the accident, but she
Well-
left me.
Well, you seen the vow? Doesn't happen. So, do you have a girlfriend?
No.
You're so cute though. Do you have a girlfriend?
No.
That's understandable. See, I don't have a girlfriend now, but I only get girlfriends that are always older women who try to be my mother. I'm like, no. So, thank you. You laughed at that joke. Of all jokes, come on. Are you a blood donor, Mike?
No.
You're a donor.
Yes.
You're a donor.
No, I can't be.
Why?
The medications I'm on, they
Cool.
thin my blood too much.
So I can't be a donor, and I found this out the hard way because, sorry, I have a negative white blood cell, and it's from a wrong blood type given to me during my accident, like a red blood transfusion. So go that way. Sorry to cut off. Have a good day, guys.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good time.